Om Swastiastu. Hi all, welcome to my video. I'm Anggita and now I will do an analysis of film adaptation. So in this video, I will explain the differences between novel and the film adapted from that novel entitled Matilda. Matilda was published in 1988 and the author is Roald Dahl, and in 1996 the director Danny DeVito made a film adaptation from that novel. So I have finished reading a novel entitled Matilda and also finished to watch the film adaptation from that novel, and the title is Matilda. I really enjoyed to read the novel and watch the film. So both of the novel and film tell the same story. The story of Matilda is the story of a little girl who is genius but is not taken care of by her parent. Matilda has a telekinetic ability that can move things with her mind. Matilda goes to school and the headmistress is Miss Trunchbull. So Miss Trunchbull is really cruel, evil and fierce. So Matilda's teacher is Miss Honey. She is niece of Miss Trunchbull. Miss Honey is a very good and kind teacher who loves Matilda very much, even adopting Matilda as a child at the end of the story. We know that the novel and the film is told the same story, but I find some differences between the film adaptation and the novel. For the first differences, I will identify the differences in terms of the number of major characters in the novel and its film. So the major characters of the novel are Matilda, Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, Michelle, Miss Honey, Miss Trunchbull, Bruce Bogarter, and Amanda Tripp. Major characters in the novel are quite a lot because in novel, all of them play an important role because they are told per chapter. And for the second, the major characters of the film adaptation are Matilda, Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, Michelle, Miss Honey, and Miss Trunchbull. So the differences, in the film adaptation, we can identify the main character by how much he stand and how much he stand out and how much change is made by the character. And for the second is I will identify the differences in characterization of the main character in novel and in film adaptation. So the first is main protagonist character from that novel and movie. The first main protagonist character is Matilda. Now I will tell the differences. So in the book, Matilda is described as a sweet, charming, and innocent figure. Has a super ability and it's smart, but Matilda doesn't get appreciation and attention from her parent. But in the film, it's almost the same as in the book, but in the film there are several differences, such as Matilda, who is told is not an innocent as tell in the book, but Matilda is described as a brave child and more rebellious. And the second, Matilda in the book is calmer because she doesn't do anything excessive. So the book doesn't talk about what happened when Matilda entered Miss Trunchbull's house. But Matilda in the film is more brutal. For example, in the film, there is a scene when Matilda enters Miss Trunchbull's house several times, being careless so that her ribbon accidentally gets caught in the tree. And this makes a thrill until Miss Trunchbull finds out who is coming to her house. Then the next day in the morning, Matilda was immediately punished or get punishment. And then Matilda in the book is more thought out and carries out all plan carefully. For example, when she is sparking her father, playing Miss Trunchbull on the blackboard, etc. Matilda never get caught because Matilda think before she acts. So Matilda know the plan and does a plan. Meanwhile, Matilda in the film is rusher because she was caught by Miss Trunchbull when Matilda came to her house. Matilda in the film doesn't make a well throughout plan. For example, when she pranked Miss Trunchbull with the blackboard, Matilda did it in the final growth without any plan or preparation. And the last, Matilda power are true as miracles in the book. So Matilda really used her power because her power are only used at certain time in the book. But in the film, Matilda's power are thought of as supernatural power in the movie. So in the movie, Matilda used her ability to move things with her mind more often than the book. Okay, for the next is Miss Honey. So in the book, it's described that Miss Honey has a gentle, loving, and full of love character. Miss Honey was described as being in perfectly in the book with no electric and other poor living condition. But in the film, it's described that Miss Honey is very kind, composite, and full of love. However, Miss Honey looks stronger in the film, and it's clearly described that Miss Honey has faced many things. But Miss Honey is still strong, and the movie show her living in beautiful little cottage with all the essential need for livable house. But in the book, doesn't. And for the next is the main antagonist character of the novel and film. And the first main antagonist here is Mr. Wormwood. Now I will tell the differences. So in the book, Mr. Wormwood are cruel and don't care about their children, and it's described as more sinister. But in the film, Mr. Wormwood does look scary too, but he look more ridiculous. So here he is described as an identified old man, but it's every scene in the film his looks goofy and carries a sense of humor. For example, in the scene where he took off the hat that was stuck to his head because of the super glue. And for the second is Miss Trunchbull. I will tell the differences. Well, Miss Trunchbull in the book is very loud and arrogant principal, but in the book, Miss Trunchbull really cares about education. So Miss Trunchbull insult and harass students, but only if they answer the question that Miss Trunchbull give wrong. If wrong, the student will be bullying and be punished until the children answer correctly. And then in the film or in the movie, it's same as in the book that Miss Trunchbull is very cruel and like to bullying a student. But the difference is in the movie, Miss Trunchbull bullying the student for no good reason. For example, when Miss Trunchbull doesn't like seeing Amanda's hair brain, then Miss Trunchbull bullies her and throw it. And for the next is Michel. So in the book, Matilda's brother Michel is a perfectly normal boy in the novel, not showing his crime. In the book, Michel only acts as Matilda's older brother who is more loved by his parent. Michel in the book didn't do any harm to Matilda directly, but in the film, Michel loved to bully Matilda. So Michel is a fat idiot like his father. So in the movie, Michel is very annoying. Michel is very annoying and annoying us to Matilda. His demeanor looks naughtier. Okay, for the third, I will identify the differences in time, place, and sociocultural setting between the novel and its film adaptation. So in the book, it takes place in England, but in film, the movie takes place in America. In the book, at the end of the novel, the Wormwood are moving to Spain, but in film or at the end of the movie, the Wormwood are moving to Guam. And the third, Miss Wormwood's first name is never mentioned or said directly, but in the film, Mrs. Wormwood's name is Zinnia. And then next, in the book, Matilda loses her power in the book, but in the movie, she does not. And then in the book, he just refers to her as Jenny, but in the film, Miss Honey's father had a nickname by her My Little Bumble in the movie. And then the next, in the novel, Matilda never goes into the Trunchbull house, but in the film, Matilda breaks into the Trunchbull house twice. And then in the book, Amanda lands on the grass process 3 times, but in the movie, Miss Strasbourg throw Amanda trip by the pigtail into a pile of flour, which she's chop out and bring to Miss Honey. And then the next difference is, so in the book, the mom is fat and the dad is skinny. But in the film, it's just opposite in the movie, which is the mom is skinny and the father is fat. And the last that the differences that I found is for the book, Matilda plays 3 tricks on her parent, such as the gauze, the hat, and the hair dye. But in the movie, she only plays 2, such as the hat and the hair dye. Okay, and the last, I will identify the differences in the plot development between the novel and its film adaptation. So the plot used in the novel and film adaptation is quite different because there are many different scenes. For example, Matilda loses her power in the book, but in movies she does not. And then for the book, Matilda played 3 tricks on her parents, such as the gauze, the hat, and the hair dye. But in the movies, it's only parts 2, such as the hat and the hair dye, etc. So there are differences scenes that cause the different plot. Okay, I think that's all about my analysis and also my argument about the differences between novel Matilda and the film adapted from the novel Matilda. Thank you so much for your attention. Om Santi 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 Om.